YouTube fam, what is good? Yours truly, Marv, back once again for another episode of Marvin's Room. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and rocking with me. To the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I wanted to hop on today and make this video around something that Florence Scovel Shinn said that I believe in particular is kind of imperative in the manifesting world. Because as you guys know on this channel, we study, or if you've been watching this channel for some time now, we study pretty much all of the metaphysical teachers. I don't just center on Neville. I don't just center on this one person. I try to give you guys different perspectives from all of the great mental science teachers that have been around for the past however many years, and really allow you guys to decide what's best for you. Because something that I realized about this law of attraction and manifestation stuff is the truth really is subjective. You know, there is no one truth with a lot of this stuff. And I know a lot of coaches or people out there, they will try to make you think doing it this way is wrong or doing it that way is right, whatever the case may be. But in my opinion, the truth is it's a person by person basis. So whatever worked for this person this way, it may not work for the next person that way. And in my opinion, there really is no wrong way to manifest. There are only ways, and it's up to you, the receiver, to decide, okay, I'm going to do it Neville's way. This is easy for me. Or I'm going to do it Florence's way because this is easy for me. What resonates with you the most, instead of looking at it from a lens of, I'm going to completely stop doing it this way because I think that that's wrong, or I think that this way is slower, or I think it's all about doing what resonates to you. And that's my job, is to just bring you these different teachings so you get to choose and pick which way resonates best with you. Because Neville's way may be fast for a lot of people, but also Neville's way may be slow to some people. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, don't beat yourself up because you're doing it Neville's way and it's not working. Maybe you need to switch over to another way, like Florence's way. For instance, what I'm getting ready to get into right now with this video. And that is Florence Scovel Shinn in her book, The Magic Path of Intuition, I believe it was. She said something very, very, very important, and something that I think a lot of people miss out on manifesting and following your intuition and knowing. Because most people, when they get into law of attraction, they focus more on forcing, which again, there's nothing wrong with that if that works for you. Maybe you can force it, maybe you can get your stuff that way, you know. But then there are some people where they will try to force, and they feel like it will do more harm than good. And you can go back and watch some of my other Florence Scovel Shinn videos on my channel where I kind of go into more of that, of why, you know, forcing things happens in a certain way and why bad things happen when you force stuff, or et cetera, et cetera. So, but Florence Scovel Shinn said something really powerful, and I want to take this passage real quick. It's just, you know, one sentence. But she mentioned, do not visualize or force a picture. It will flash into your conscious mind from the superconscious. Okay, I'm gonna read that one more time. Florence says, do not visualize or force a picture. It will flash into your consciousness from the superconscious. Now, what does that mean? Basically, she's saying that whatever your desire is, in my opinion, whatever your desire is, the universe knows what that desire is, right? And the universe is basically saying you don't need to try to force the visualization to happen a certain way. You don't need to try to force your affirmations for it to happen a certain way. I will do that part for you. I will flash the mental image before you to let you know, to kind of like precede, to let you know, okay, this is how you're going to get whatever it is that you want to manifest. And I think this is a huge reason why a lot of people have a hard time creating specific person scenes when manifesting a specific person. Because when they're trying to manifest a specific person, a lot of times it's a bad situation. A lot of times they're overthinking, they're in the past, they have depression, or they're thinking about the future, which is causing anxiety, and they're not in the present moment. And something that I realize a lot of times is they want things to happen a certain way. And so they're creating this scene in their mind in a way that they want it to happen. But when you create a scene in your mind for your manifestation to happen in a certain way necessarily, and you're telling yourself, yo, it has to happen this way, it has to happen this way, you could actually be blocking your manifestation from happening quicker, because the universe knows all of the ways, the random ways to bring you whatever it is that you want. However, you only, in your mind can only comprehend and conceive it happening in this way. And so like I was saying, a lot of times when people are trying to manifest a specific person, for instance, they will go about it creating a scene to where which it may not happen that way, or the probability of it not happening that way is extremely high. So what Florence is saying is don't even visualize the scene of how your specific person is going to come back. Essentially, don't even do that, because the superconscious will do that for you. It will flash the scene. It will naturally give you a scene that when it flashes in your when it flashes in your mind, you will know it's real. You will know that's the scene. You will know that's how it's going to happen. It's kind of like when those people win the lottery and they always say, I had a knowing, or, the numbers just flashed before me, and they say different things like that. This is kind of the same way with your specific person. Instead of visualizing and trying to force an imaginal scene, she's saying, no, just let the universe give you that imaginal scene. And when that imaginal scene flashes before you in your conscious mind, then basically what she's saying is, then that will be the scene that you probably can use to do your Neville state akin to sleep, the SATS acronym. That's when you can do that. You can use that imaginal scene that the universe will flash before you, and then you can go to sleep in that mode. And I find it interesting because I think back, looking back, when there were certain things that I wanted to manifest, and when I did imaginal scenes, I had such a hard time at times in the beginning visualizing things. And I thought to myself, that's because the visualizations are not coming off as natural. I'm trying to force these visualizations. I'm trying to visualize, whatever the case may be, but it doesn't feel natural. I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen that way. But the funny thing is when I gave up resistance to the how whatever my manifestation is, when I gave up the resistance to how it's going to happen, and I kind of just like took a step back, and kind of like the backwards law, to where you kind of stop trying to do everything, stop trying to manifest, and you just let the universe naturally come up with the scene in your head. Because the more you try to force, it's kind of like an idea. The more you try to force an idea, if you ever notice, when you try to sit down and think of ideas never come to you. They never come. If you lock yourself in a room or something and you're trying to figure out the solution to a problem that you have, whether it's with a specific person of how to get them back, or, how can you get out of this predicament at work, or how you can, if you ever notice, when you try to figure that out, you're never able to figure it out because you're trying too hard. You're not letting the universe do its job. That's not how the mind works. The mind works through the path of least resistance. The mind works on basically the 80-20 principle, meaning 20% of the stuff you do is going to give you 80% of the results, and 20% of what you're supposed to do is literally, nothing, and essentially, and that's hard for a lot of people to understand. But I realized that when you take a step back from trying to control the image and trying to force the image to happen, the universe will naturally, boom, give you that idea. It will flash into your subconscious mind, that good idea, or the how of how it's going to happen. It'll give you that way, that pathway of least resistance. It will flash. And then once that flashes, then you can sit there and say, okay, now this is going to be my imaginal scene. And what I was going to say earlier was I kind of realized that with different things when I was manifesting, I tried to think and figure out, like, okay, how am I going to get, in the beginning, I would think and figure, okay, how am I going to get this, whatever it is that I want? Okay, I'm going to go about it this way, or this is how it's going to happen. And then I took a step back and I said, you know what? No, it's not going to happen that way. I don't know how it's going to happen. And then the universe naturally gave me the idea of, for instance, with a specific person at the time, years ago, the universe gave me the idea of, boom, a text message. Because at first I couldn't figure out receiving a text. That wasn't how I went about it. How I went about it was, trying to figure out what scene I could force to give me what I want in my mind, but not realizing there's so much lack in my mind. So I took a step back at trying to figure out what the imaginal scene was. Like Florence said, I didn't visualize or force a scene. I just let the universe bring it to me from the superconscious. So when that happened, it was like, boom, text message. That's your end scene. Your end scene is getting the text message. Your end scene is not, holding hands with a specific person, or your end scene is not getting back with a specific person. Your end scene is not X, Y, and Z. That's not your end scene. That's not your end scene. I'm going to give you the end scene that's going to bring you what you want in the fastest time period. So you got to give up that resistance if you want this to happen. And I know that's scary for a lot of you guys, but again, this advice could be for you. This advice may not be for you. Again, my job is to just present all of the teachings from all of these great metaphysical scientists and allow you to choose the path that you want to go. But this path tremendously worked for me, because when I stopped trying to figure out my end scene with my SP at the time, however many years ago that was, when I was trying to manifest contact from a person, when I stopped trying to figure out the scene and force the scene, and I just said, you know what, I'm giving it to the universe. That's when the idea of the universe flashed into my mind. That's when the universe was like, here, your end scene is going to be a text message. And it felt so natural and it felt so real. And that's when I was like, okay, boom, now I have my end scene. That's how I created my end scene. And then, boom, in less than a year, it happened. So I think if you can apply this, I think you very well may be able to get your manifestation in a relatively short period of time. All right, guys, it's been another episode. I hope you got some gems from today's video. It's your man Marv back. I will see you guys next time. You know where, you know when.